Hello, welcome to the GHPC developer stream for April 2022. Hope everybody had a good April Fool's Day. I know we did. We were very excited to release our patch, which was totally normal, had nothing special at all in it, of course. For those of you who don't know yet, who didn't try it out, we have a UAZ rally race, which was very fun. Trying not to die before you reach the finish line and getting sworn at in Russian. It's a very good time. But also, unannounced, we put the Bradley fighting vehicle into that patch, and for those of you who completed the April Fool's content, you were able to unlock that. We will be releasing a patch after the stream today, sometime this afternoon, which will fully unlock the Bradley. It's still Patreon only, but all those missions will be unlocked. You will no longer need to do the April Fool's content. So that should be fun. Yeah, Kavi's not here today. He is with us. His voice is echoing in all of our heads. We remember him fondly.
Yep, that's how that works. Hi, everyone.
Alright, so I'm going to get the game up and play some rally racing. I was going to use my racing wheel for this, but did some audio testing and it turns out that thing is really loud. It would come through the mic.
Very loud.
So I figured I'd spare all of you and just use keyboard.
When he crashes with his racing wheel there, you actually feel like he's crashing.
It goes directly into your skull. Okay. So rally. This is a time trial, and we have kind of an unofficial leaderboard going on the Discord, so if you think you're very good at this, submit a screenshot of your time, and we'll put you on there. I'm not very good at it, though, as you can see. So I'll drive a little bit, and then I'll explain why we did this, because there is a specific reason. We didn't just wake up one day and say, you know, I really like the UAZ. It is cool, but it's not just arbitrary. Some of you have gotten very good times, by the way, on this track. I believe the fastest is 6 minutes something or 5 minutes something. It's very quick. It takes about 7.5 to do it correctly, following all the roads and everything.
For everyone watching the stream, the time, if you haven't played this yet, is up in the top left corner there.
Oh yeah, it's blocked by my head.
Yeah.
But
it is there, don't worry.
I'm not gonna move my camera, because then I'll have to move it back, but yeah, there's a timer up there with minutes, seconds, and milliseconds. This is in the Point Alpha map, but it's a route that most people have not taken before because there are no missions in those woods or on that hilltop. It kind of looks like a new map almost.
Someone asked in the chat, backseat driving. It does feel that way, but this is the best view to kind of show off a couple of things.
Yeah, this is... Okay. I was just gonna say, this is my view road tripping. You know, my dad driving. Anyway, go ahead.
Your dad regularly swear at you in Russian?
No, that's the passenger seat. That's my mom. No.
Oh, okay.
I'm kidding.
So a couple of things we get to show off in this view is these really incredible animations that we've had cooked up. The jostling that is happening against the road with the UAZ, that's all tied into the animations, as well as the physics of the car. So as you see people leaning left and right, that's kind of happening with respect to how the vehicle is driving.
Yes, this is it's a bit of a prototype because we have always planned to have visible crew members in the tanks. When you are driving around, you'll be able to have your guys buttoned or unbuttoned, and if they are unbuttoned, you'll get a better view, and they will also be more vulnerable because, you know, they can be hit by shrapnel or bullets or whatever. But when they are unbuttoned, when the tank's lurching around going over rough ground, they shouldn't just sit there frozen like they're a statue on the turret. They should actually be bouncing around and looking around. So we prototyped those systems with this April Fool's mode. It's kind of a dual purpose. It's a little fun game thing, and also a meaningful feature add for us. We thought that was a pretty slick way to do things.
Alongside that, now you've got a pretty basic compass at the top to kind of get an idea of where, direction-wise, you should be heading. But we also thought with that, well, that's not going to add really a lot unless you can see or know on the compass what's going on. So we've got these waypoints that are showing distances, which are, I would guess, an expectation for vehicle driving games at this point. It's not necessarily a god mode to just know how far away something is on the map. But the waypoint that Josh is seeing here, that is roughly 100 meters away, is also indicated on the compass itself.
Yes. Oh, turn on the radio. That's a good point.
Yeah, you should turn on the radio. We had this commission in very short notice.
Yeah, well done to Majoris for making this. He does all of our music so far. No, it's because of the swearing.
Need English subtitles. I agree, and I look forward to a lot of the voice acting we want to have, even just for accessibility's sake. We're going to have subtitles. Unity does allow for that. It's just not a priority right now.
Yeah. Also, you can kind of see in the left side there is some damage text because I am beating the crap out of this vehicle, and it's letting me know. That is a new feature. Before, it'd only tell you when it was destroyed. We made it a little bit more responsive for this. I think in the future we might actually make it have some effect as well, like when your engine starts to get damaged, it performs worse, that kind of thing.
Taking all the turns very tight. What is your time?
I have 6:39, 5:22.
Oh, that could be way cut down.
Yeah, that can be very much cut down. That was a good staying on the road run, but you know, a lot of people are driving off the cliff and stuff. Here, let me lower my game volume. Someone made a good point about the audio drowning me out. Okay, so we also added in-game music. That's probably apparent. Now what that does is it responds to what's going on in the mission. So let me grab Silver Dart as an example, because that usually has quite a bit of action.
I feel like you're making a pun there, and I don't want to acknowledge it.
Now, what kind of pun would that be, Copy?
No.
Okay, by the way, we fixed the input arrow. It's, it was hiding itself for some reason.
I blame your brother. which is something common that I do in the project. If something goes wrong, I immediately blame his brother.
Oh. I ate that missile. Okay, so now there's music. Because there's been action. And then, since there is no action now, it will fade away after a moment. Let's turn that back down a bit. This comes in handy when you get rolled up on really close or something unexpected happens. The music swells up immediately, makes it more intense.
Does that tie into the panic states of the crew?
It does. If your crew become panicked, the music will actually go to max immediately.
Separate audio sliders when? We already have 3.
Yeah, I could see another one for effects or something. It's a good point. You know, the whole game's a work in progress, and we'll get to these things when we have time.
Mm-hmm.
Hiding behind a T-72. Okay, so anyway. Yeah, some of the voice actors have different amounts of panic, kind of. So it's always interesting when you get a blend where, like, your gunner is very collected and your TC is screaming, or, you know, that kind of thing. It's basically down to personality. It's popcorn peppering the armor. Anyway, so yeah, you get the gist. There's music. But let's do something new. With snapping to call that target's always a feature. Yes, hitting the spacebar lets the AI commander direct your aim for as long as you hold it. That's it's a bit overpowered right now because it doesn't have any kind of acceleration or delay or whatever. It's kind of like an aimbot. We will of course be changing that in the future, but for now enjoy instant lock on to whatever your commander sees if you hit spacebar. Let's do...
AKA the only way I'm able to play the game.
Huh. Well, let's greet the Bradley in style, actually. It's kind of like if anybody played Armored Fist 3, you would hit enter and it would get you the preferred target, kind of like a lockdown. This is not exactly the same because it doesn't lock on, you still have to aim, but it does pick out the target for you on a key press, so sort of similar.
This seems like a very basic calm mission.
Yeah. Will the hunter-killer feature be limited to tanks that actually had that? Yes, I believe so. Right now it's everything because it's kind of a universal AI feature, but that will change. I have the task right now of staying alive in this outdated hunk of metal while I'm rolled up on by Bradley's.
We will definitely be getting more GHPC music from Witchers. He will give us music until we say stop. Thank you, Tom Beckett. Just saying good job. I assume he was saying that because you failed.
Yes, I assume so as well. You can always count on Twitch chat to be positive and affirming and all that. Yeah, so the Bradley is in the game, as you can see. Let's actually play a mission as the Bradley, though. It's a bit more fun.
This has been something that we teased, oh geez, more than a year ago, right?
Yeah, it's probably closer to 2 at this point. It was one of the earliest vehicles that we teased before we added it, and then we rearranged our development priorities around that time and realized we would not be adding a bunch of new vehicles at once, and it went into the backlog for a long time.
Long time. A good portion of this development cycle was, okay, you know what? Let's try and see if we can prototype some new features, and let's throw off everyone. Maybe the Bradley can come out. What kind of work do we need to get this done? Oh yeah, it should take about a week. 3 more weeks later, and then we find that the Bradley has so many special snowflake little design features to it that it was just a massive effort, a Herculean effort by Josh to get that all situated.
Yeah, Bradley was not easy. There were so many things about it that were different from every other vehicle in the game so far, and we had to expand our systems to support that.
There was not a 72-hour coding session. This is... we haven't done that in a while, I'll say, but this is probably the first month where we have planned out a lot of our stuff well in advance, and even though Bradley took a lot of additional time, we were able to get to April 1st, because we said we would, without major issue. I think maybe we had 1 or 2 nights where we had to stay up a little late.
Yeah, but we do that anyway, so, you know, big deal.
That's true. I'm mostly just playing Hitman, though.
Huh.
It's a good game.
It is a good game.
Lots of Red Bull. No, Josh doesn't drink Red Bull.
No.
I used to.
I drink a lot of caffeine and sugar, but not Red Bull, so there's that. Let's see. The Abrams are pushing up right now, which is not very nice of them because I'm the scout. That is a tank. Let's give it a tow.
Is the tow reticle in the day sight on the Bradley a bug or not?
No, it's not a bug. It's permanently etched onto the day sight. So the Bradley's a little funny. It has this tow reticle crosshair, but it's not in the center. It's offset low and left. And then it has the actual projected reticle, which is this yellowy color. That is also on the sight at the same time, because you can't get rid of the tow reticle. So whenever you've selected a weapon that uses this reticle, it appears, and then it disappears otherwise. But if you go into thermals, which are red colored in the Bradley, Nightmare Vision, you have these reticles that are not etched, so they can show up separately. They're the same reticles, but they will toggle independently of each other. And that's, it's completely intended. I'm not really sure why they did it that way, but they did, so that's how it looks here. Now I know there's also some additional quirks, like if you zoom out, wide field of view, I think your gun sight reticle is also supposed to disappear, but we did not implement that yet. There were so many things to sort out for this patch that a couple of little details fell away, but you know, eventually.
Kind of the fun thing about prototyping these features, as we put them out, we find needs that we don't even suspect. Someone in the first day of the patch, I think, posted a screenshot of a massively wide resolution monitor that we didn't even consider. So now we're going to take that into account for not only our existing UI, but later implementations that we need to follow.
Yeah, we're probably going to have to add side letterboxing so that people can't get ridiculous field of view by using a wide monitor. Not for the third person, but for the gun sights, because they only would have had so much FOV.
Pay to win. just 700 Diamond Eagles, or whatever the hell we're gonna call them, you guys can have God Mode camera. Hyman Kavis. Oh god. I have to mint the first thing. If you're just getting here and watching the stream, we just showed off what we did for our April Fool's content, which was a rally race featuring the UAZ. If you happen to play that patch and are able to finish the rally race without dying, you will unlock other missions. And some of those other missions happen to have the Bradley in them. Oh my god. That red text.
Yeah. The enemy's retreating. By the way, these newer missions, some of them, we've altered our win conditions so that you don't have to hunt down the last vehicle. That's no fun. And also, obviously you've won once you've destroyed the enemy a certain amount. You don't have to go and find every single thing that moves and wreck it. Somewhere around here there must be a live vehicle. I'm gonna try to find it.
You're just gonna hunt them down?
Yeah.
You've already won.
It's not enough.
How violent.
I'm going to tow that BMP instead.
Question, and thank you everyone for the follows, definitely appreciate it. Question, are we going to eventually make the Bradley move the turret to the reloading position to reload the tows?
Yeah, most likely. It's just, that's not a feature yet. We have to edit the code to support that. Oh, hello, they see something. So that it would apply for all tanks though, like if you're reloading the T-55 and you have your turret turned around so that the loader can't reach the wet rack, then you just wouldn't get that rack. That's a bit of extra engineering to do though, so we have other things that we've prioritized at the moment. That's more of a polish item eventually. Oh, hello. Hello,
yeah,
lunch.
Eventually you will need to take that into consideration though. Bradley is already in the game and playable. So, with our April Fool's patch, we did release the Bradley if you were able to unlock certain missions. We are going to release a small patch later today that will take away that particular caveat, so they'll just be available as a theater from the selection screen. But the Bradley, as of now, correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, is patron only.
Yeah, Bradley is patron only. It will stay patron only, but the missions will be available for everybody and unlocked after this patch. Oh yeah, you can restock belted ammo now. Bradley has a kind of a funny ammo system. It has two ready bins. One is 70 rounds and one is 230. And you use those belts, that's one HE and one APDS. And then once you're down far enough you want to reload, you grab 50 round boxes or crates of 16 and 17 round belt segments called hot boxes, and you pull those belts out and you clip them onto the existing belts, and then you close up the boxes again and you keep going. That process takes a long time, and also in the real Bradley, if you use up your last 26 rounds or 36 depending which feed it is, you have to take part of the gun housing apart to attach more ammo, so it takes even longer, to the point where there's actually an interrupt on it. You get down to that last piece of belt, it stops you unless you override it. Like, you better be in a life or death situation to use this last ammo, otherwise you're gonna have to do the several more minutes of reloading. It's this bizarre, totally bizarre system. We don't have all of those details in there, and it's debatable whether they would be useful to implement at all, but if they are coming, it'll be much later when we have more important things out of the way. When is the pixelation of thermals planned? Soon. I mean, we've experimented with some ways of doing it. We don't want to do it in kind of a way that will mess with our rendering in other ways, so we have to do some more testing first. It's not as easy, pardon me, as it sounds to pixelate the thermals and leave the other stuff full res, but yeah, we'll get there.
There were a couple prototypes recently that did look feasible, but yeah, not just yet that we want to commit a lot of effort to them.
Yeah.
How's development of the campaign going?
Campaign's good. We've been mostly focused on other stuff for the last month, so you might have noticed there's not really anything new about mission generator missions, but yeah, that's going to come along, obviously. We have an intention of doing the system where you get generated missions and also kind of like set piece attacks and stuff. We'll get into more details about that later, but we have a whole campaign mode planned out, and that will be a big piece of the single player content.
Yeah. With this release, those waypoints and the compass markers that I noted earlier, now that gives us the ability to drop that inside of dynamic missions to give a bit more context to what the player is actually supposed to be going towards, instead of general written directions and popping open the map. Not added yet, but relatively easy add that we're going to be putting in soon.
Yes. The Haito is pretty nasty. This
Ish.
I've rarely seen it not one-shot kill anything.
So I have a question. How overpowered is Bradley, and why do you have American bias?
Ask me again once BMP2 and T80B are in.
Okay.
In the meantime, though, that's pretty gnarly. Enjoy your Bradley gameplay while it's the top dog. Because eventually it'll have to face the 30mm. What was it? 2A42? Can't remember exactly, but yeah.
Don't ask me like I know that.
This is quite the hit.
Yeah, seriously.
From a T55. Let's see. This guy is very lucky that he escaped with all of his limbs.
Even with that shot, he wouldn't have been, like, blown off from it, or...
No, but what happened was after this hit, since the missile launcher was inoperable, he bailed out immediately.
Yeah, I would too. I would just be done with my military career and everything.
Mm-hmm. Been there, saw Sabo up close. Yeah, I'm all set now.
Time to be a farmer.
You really missed that tank, though.
He was too focused on other things.
Like, if any of them show up, I will be ready. Nothing will get past me. I am a watcher in the grass, the pure embodiment of stealth.
Dun 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 dun.
Yep. Here we have a good use of munitions.
That house was coming right for them.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't tell me otherwise.
You gotta do what you gotta do, you know?
Yep.
What was he even aiming at? He clearly saw something.
And then he decided, nah.
I'm not seeing whatever it was, though.
Oh my god. Just blew up a family of 5.
Okay, I think I know. He was going for that. It rolled behind... Or maybe there's another one in line? No. He apparently just... Yeah, he lost the target and dumped the missile. Oh yeah, because I added that in this patch. If they overshoot or otherwise lose target, they will dump the missile under the ground now. before they would keep shooting off into the sky, and the gunner would just sit there like, all right, anytime now, you know. So, yep, I am personally responsible for this war crime. Let's see. We got any interesting questions?
Just comments on your war crimes.
Yeah, they are pretty good war crimes. By the way,
please don't clip that.
Oh no. Some of you remember that the oh gosh, boy, these units are on a roll right now with the shooting houses. Some of you remember that the M113 used to be quite invulnerable to heat. When you would shoot through the front, the swim vane would absorb the blast from the warhead going off, and none of the spall would make it through the front plate. That has been fixed, which is part of the reason why heat rounds are so deadly now. They no longer get shrugged off by thin layers of armor right near the detonation point. They do quite a bit of damage.
Okay, so 2 questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
One, and I think I missed this the first time, Toxie, sorry. Will you be able to change fire rate on the BMP2 once it's out?
We'll see when it's out.
Okay, good answer. Yeah, unsure just yet. Second question, will the Malyutka ease of use be improved on the BMP? I feel like that's pretty true to form.
The ease of use won't be improved because it was hard to use, but the realism will be improved. Right now there's a couple of glitches with it, like if you turn your vehicle's hull while it's in flight, it'll actually throw the missile off as well. It's not quite a one-to-one with the way the steering model should be, so that'll be fixed eventually. But as far as making it easier to use, nah, you just have to get used to it. That's how manual command line of sight works.
Have Abrams crews only recently began not using the ammo stowage in the hull, or have they done that for a long time?
I'm unclear on that. You'll have to ask somebody who crewed an Abrams in the 80s. They used to carry 8 rounds in that hull rack. Now it's 6. They don't use the 6. I could see them not using the 8 either, but I'm not the person to know that.
Honestly, drop the question. Come over to the Discord if you're not already there, and drop the question in the main discussion room. We do have a number of former tankers in there. I'm sure someone will have an opinion or a second-hand response to that.
Bjorn said they still have the ammo in the hull rack when he was in.
There we go.
That would make sense.
His handle has 1984 next to it, so I'm inclined to believe him. Just off of that.
Yeah, we know that Bjorn was in the army during the 80s, so.
So right now, the focus is Fulda Gap, 1985-ish. Do you expect like any future DLC to jump into different theaters, or would we focus more on like faction releases for Fulda?
It would definitely be different theaters. I mean, there's no reason we couldn't do additional factions, but for the most part, if you look at what we've said before about the Fulda theater, it's going to be US, USSR, and East and West Germany. Those were the major players in that area, and anything else, if we're sticking to Fulda, it would be kind of superfluous. It would be like, oh, maybe a little bit of French, or a little bit of British, or like someone might have got moved. Like, that's not really worth exploring as far as a finished theater goes. Instead, we would probably look into more scenarios in general. So completely different location, different war, different year, and flesh out the game's offering by doing more of those things.
Gotcha. Also, why are you playing on a Virtual Boy?
That is the Bradley. Don't criticize the Bradley, it's second to none. That's what they say. Like, whatever Bradley has is best.
Doom Eternal music should play when you turn on the thermals in the Bradley.
Heh.
Apt, honestly. A Scandinavian conflict would be cool, but fictional. That would be cool. We're not against fictional or realistic base, but fictional offshoots, honestly. So
Here's a kind of a thing about that. There's a lot of things that would be cool. A great many ideas would be cool, but there are too many to make, and so we choose the ones that we think are the most interesting. So as far as like ideas and stuff go, like you can speculate, but it's not really going to change anything. We already have our favorites list, and we'll be going through them as we have time.
Yep. Now, if we grow as a team, like, hey, just bounced over that tree.
Yeah.
As we grow as a team and have the ability to make more stuff like that, that just will come out more quickly. We'll be able to spin up more content that way. A lot of the work we're doing right now is to build the game framework, the workflow for making content. At a certain point, all that's going to be done outside of specific feature requests here and there, and then we're just going to be making vehicles, making terrain, making events, making the campaigns better. So a lot of people who support us on Patreon, they are allowing us to do that. As we are able to gain more followers, resources, that all just goes right back into the game.
There it is. Lancer named all these missions with I names, so I have to try to remember which is which.
The alliteration. How far are the Russian OP4 crew voices coming along?
We haven't had time to do that. We have the scripts done. We have a little bit recorded, but not all. Like, there's a whole process to do. So they'll be ready when they're ready. Just don't worry too much. There's I saw somebody comment about the Bradley not having its crew voices. Those are actually recorded, but we again didn't have time to put them in. But they will be arriving. Toxie, my answer about the Russian voices, just take that and change it to say German, and that's the same answer for East German.
Also, when you replay it in your head, give him kind of like a light German accent.
Yeah, seasoned to taste. That was way over. I'm apparently trash at T-55 gunnery. Oh, there we go. Not that trash. Well,
I mean, I don't think you've died once in these missions, so...
Yeah? Are you sure about that?
Well, there's a lag in the streams.
What I need is a BMP, so that I can shoot missiles at them, and then when they kill me anyway, at least it'll be in style. Oh. That's bad news. This is how you deal with M60s. You gotta know how to talk to them.
From quite afar.
Yep.
With an exploding bee.
Yep. Oh, someone's shooting. Oh, hello. Oh.
Ooh.
Well. Let's,
We get good at aiming and controlling the Malyutka because we're testing it. Testing it.
oh my gosh. Someone's being rude right now. Alright. Jeez. Nice.
Josh enters a war zone and gets shot at. How rude of you.
It almost seemed excessive, the amount they were shooting me. That's the autocannon, I guess.
You needed to learn your lesson. Did you guys start working on the fire suppression system, or is it in the backlog?
That's still coming. Yeah. That will make the Abrams even more overpowered when it arrives, because not all of these tanks had automatic fire suppression systems. Hello. Welcome to Germany.
Beautiful country. For future releases of the game, we plan on adding something to create a more of a war atmosphere. Sounds of explosions far away, low passing planes, jets. Actually, yeah, we've talked about that. We've talked about doing kind of like even replacing some of the skybox, the general skybox that you see here, with a bit more atmosphere, I guess, flavor.
Yeah.
We've definitely talked about how playing the campaign can also impact that sort of stuff that you'd see in the distance. Yeah, on the list.
Yep, that's kind of polished items. We have a few more core features like multiplayer to finish, and we've got a Steam early access release planned for probably late summer. So there's some stuff to do before we get into, you know, making ambient sounds or whatever, that kind of deal. Same thing for UI, like this user interface here, the HUD and everything. That's still mostly a development placeholder. That's not it's been like designed or anything. That's all kind of coming.
Oh yeah, very much so.
By the way, if you guys want to help us out, you can wishlist this game on Steam right now. That gives us a good handle on numbers. Wow, I do not have a good handle on winning. That helps us figure out how many people are interested, give us some metrics to go off of. It boosts the game's popularity in the feed when it releases. If we get that activity, that'll help us out a lot as well. So yeah, the link is, well, I don't have a link on hand, but if you search GHPC on Steam, it'll come up right away.
I dropped a link to our main site in the chat.
There we go.
Yeah, Wishlist. If you don't feel you want to contribute to Patreon, we have some merch that helps. But honestly, just like share the game with friends, share the game with people or communities that you feel might find interest in it.
Yep.
We want more eyes on this. More eyes gets more interest, etc. I'm not gonna go down the money line there.
Yeah, we don't have much of a marketing budget to speak of, so anything that you guys can do as far as letting people know that this exists is very helpful.
I have had this game wishlisted for exactly one eternity already, sir. First off, I don't believe you. But second,
it's time dilation.
If you do have that wishlisted, thank you, definitely.
As release date approaches, time stretches for everybody waiting, but it compresses for us developing the game. There's never any time.
Yep. Always a thing to do, which is honestly pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Alright, what time is it? It is 1:45. Alright, we got a little more time. What should I do?
What else can you die?
I'm gonna run you know what, let's do the T-34 mission, why not? It is the April Fool's patch still. Please release this game, I wanna leave War Thunder. Yeah, you can, first of all, you can leave War Thunder at any time. Second, it's not gonna be a replacement for War Thunder, so hopefully people enjoy it anyway, but we're going for a much different thing than War Thunder, World of Tanks, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, those are definitely games that have built up and surrounded themselves with the free-to-play team deathmatch sort of way of doing things, we look forward to doing something different than that. Everything you guys see right now is our build up to get a taste of what gameplay we're really targeting.
Yep. By the way, everybody who asked for World War II tanks, this is it. This is the World War II content, and it's for April Fools, and not likely to be anything else beside that.
Yeah.
So if you haven't grabbed this demo, you should, because T-34 is not going to stay forever. It tends to come back for April and then go away again.
It's got everything you need. It's not stabilized. It's slow. At some point, I think I just blow up every so often without even doing anything.
I mean, practically. It does have neat aftermarket marching lights from the East Germans. This green convoy light thing. And nobody's ever noticed this. It changes based on distance, just like the real one does. So depending on how many segments you can distinguish, that's how far you are.
Neat.
Yep. I'm going to turn it off and be sneaky. Then I'm going to turn this on and be not sneaky. Oh yeah, headlights are new. Some of the tanks have them. The UAZ has it. If you change the time of day in your mission with the comma and period keys, you can give yourself an extra challenge. This vehicle doesn't have any night vision whatsoever, but most of them do. The East German ones tend to have intensifier sights and spotlights, active IR night vision. The American ones have thermals. The commanders of all the tanks have their own head-mounted units, which have different looks depending on which one it is, which side. And yeah, it's kind of a neat experience. The AI also respond to it. The Americans are quite good in the night still because of thermals, and the East Germans not so much. It's very challenging to play it from the packed side. Let's go through the night here and get back to morning so I can see.
You're driving an ice cream truck with a howitzer.
Pretty much. Also, props to Lancer for these fun events and the missions. Lancer is our terrain layout and mission designer.
Yeah, if you see some of those messages, replacements for SIGINT include GUT-INT. My gut is telling me this. And then there were a few others popped in there.
I think there was ear int or something like that, and then I think a magic int is upcoming. Will this game have a lineup / deck building mechanic? Not the way you're thinking of it from Wargame or Warno, that series, but something kinda similar is in our plans for campaign mode, and we'll get into that more when we have more material to show for it. Any new mission designs coming to GHPC? For dynamic missions, I assume you mean, or just in general? Well, either way, yes. Just, we don't give out too many details about timing for this stuff usually. You'll see when it arrives. We've got a lot of stuff being made at any one time. More than we can list and almost more than we can handle. Sometimes I wonder how we're even making this game in the first place. But it's happening somehow, and we're doing it. I think we're doing okay.
Play world beater, coward.
I don't want to get DMCA'd live on stream.
Yeah.
Damn it. Lancer.
Who knew? You.
God damn it, Lancer. You don't have to rub it in.
Oh. I love it.
I didn't know that was in there.
Me neither.
Fuck's sake. Let's see
We're
what
the best at vetting all of our content before it goes out.
Yeah, he could have said anything. Okay. Yep. I got 25'd. At least I got him. I think that's like the third time I've died to those two Bradleys after also killing them. Oh well.
Happens to the best of us. But mostly to you.
I'm going to play a rally again because I can't get shot, and let's look for some more questions. At least you're consistent. Oh, shut up. You better behave or I'll turn the music back on and turn up the volume. Oops. I was probably supposed to turn there. Alright, I'm the best at driving.
I mean, you can just go right down the hill.
You can go right down the hill. You want to see what happens when you go right down the hill?
Yeah,
Save time?
I want to see what happens. I mean, you've got to properly drive. Pretty good so far.
I mean, I saved some time.
Right?
The music's clashing, though.
Are tank breaching missions a thought for after the Steam release?
Not really. Tank breaching, like using an engineer vehicle, or demolition? Like, what are you talking about? I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that we could do. It's just there's no point in thinking about it until we have the time to actually make new stuff that's not already planned.
Mm-hmm. When will we see the T-64?
We have an idea, but we're not saying because we have
that
a
goes
history.
Along the line of many vehicle questions.
Yeah, we're not even saying which vehicles we're adding besides like some very obvious ones. We tend to play that pretty close to the chest because if you give a list, one, if it changes, people will be like, what the heck, you said this thing. And two, it gives people more stuff to ask about all the time and hound us until it's done. And we don't really want that. We just want to work on it. So yeah, that's how that goes.
Yep. Bon Bon, Day X of telling action until 64 is released. That was a fun meme.
Yeah, somebody did that for Bradley.
I'm glad we told people to stop doing that.
It didn't make it come out any faster. If anything,
True.
It would be the other way around.
Will the UAZ SPG-9 be in the game?
Well, the question was, will it not be in the game?
I'm not gonna ask that.
Well, and the answer to that is no.
So it will be in the game?
It might be.
Ah, see, double negative.
I can't confirm that it will not be in the game. I remember seeing.
I wasn't falling for that trick.
Yeah. Now that might be more of a patron Q&A thing, actually. By the way, good segue there. After stream, and also on the months where there is no stream, we do a Patreon subscriber Q&A on Discord. And in that, people actually get to ask whatever they want on voice, and it's kind of more chill, freeform. And we tend to reveal more in those than we do on the streams. Not by much, but by enough. We get occasionally some spoilers, some teaser images posted in there. It's a good time. So, if you feel like supporting the project and you would like to get in on that inside stuff and be very cool, then patreon.com/GunnerHeatPC. That is how you get that. More leaks on today's Q&A? We will see. We'll see what I can show. It's always a balancing act. Now that the Bradley's out, I gotta give everybody the next thing to ask us about it constantly, right?
No. Why would you say that? Oh my god. The other thing about those Q&As is that we record them, post them to Patreon, so if you do happen to join up, you can see our full history of us denying questions. No, answering shit.
We answer a lot of stuff.
We answer a lot of stuff.
Here's the Hill of Death. I believe this is the one where you can't see the end until it's almost too late to break.
You could have made that jump over the hill right there.
I could, but my vehicle couldn't. Like, I've only gone off the one cliff at the beginning and my guys are already on the verge of death. If I,
Seems like... Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say if I breathe too hard, they're gonna die. Anyway, what are you saying?
God, how much of a donation will make Action play piano on stream?
It would have to be a pretty big one. And you wouldn't get any masterpieces. I think I remember how to play the Fallout 4 theme, maybe. I could do...
I would love to see that.
I can do like a really light rendition of Strobe by Deadmau5. I don't know, I'm very out of practice.
I will match donations up to $1 total. Someone made mention games like War Thunder and World of Tanks have conditioned people to constantly expect new vehicles.
Oh yeah.
I don't disagree with that, but it's very much a completely different gameplay philosophy.
Yeah, it's kind of it's an interesting dynamic because those games already have their gameplay loop established, and the main thing that develops from patch to patch is new vehicles. If you have a finished game and you're just putting new content in it. We don't have a finished game. We're expanding every part of it, including the vehicles, including the gameplay, including core features, engine stuff. So we're not really concerned with adding vehicles every patch. And it's a completely different situation in that regard. So you'll get vehicles sometimes you won't. Sometimes it'll be we added a new kind of damage model thing, or we added a new kind of mission. And sometimes it'll be, hey, we added 2 vehicles this patch just because they were ready, and that's what we did priority. It all depends. 6:07, 8:79 was my time there.
Oh, you're getting better.
I am getting better. I think I have a sub 5 still, though.
Alright, so it's 1 o'clock. We do have a patron Q&A to go to, but I want to answer one more question while we're here. Where do you get research info about tanks, like obscure things?
That's an interesting question. There are many answers to that. First of all, we don't use anything that's restricted, so don't send us classified stuff. We don't accept it anyway. That's always been a rule on our server and whatnot. But we use all the public sources we can find. We prioritize live test data overall for when it is available. And there is some. The stuff is old enough that we can find some live firing reports and things like that declassified. 2, we look at basic claims like RHA equivalent penetrations, loose armor ratings, whatever. And then we use educated guesses. So there's a certain amount of obfuscation that goes on, a certain amount of propaganda, and from what we know about material design and extrapolating the progress of other vehicles, we can kind of ballpark what's a reasonable value for the unknowns. And then we can do a little bit of clever stuff too, like if there's not a firing table available for ammunition, for example, we can use the gun sight reticle to reverse engineer the ballistics. That might sound difficult to do, but we've got a system for it and it works pretty well. I'm actually pretty proud of how that goes. So all told, in the end, we have a pretty reasonable facsimile of real performance. The numbers are not precise, they're just loosely in the right neighborhood, but it's close enough for the result. And that's part of the reason why we don't publish here's our exact armor ratings, here's an armor viewer, that sort of thing, because it's not really a numbers game. We get it close to reality, we take our best guess, and then we just make the gameplay happen. And in the end, it's probably not going to matter if it was 50 millimeters off on your turret cheek composite or whatever, that's not really the point. But we're pretty happy with how we've done it anyway. Yeah, I believe that's going to wrap up the stream. So thank everybody for coming, and we will see you, if you're a Patreon subscriber, we'll see you at the Q&A. Otherwise, see you in 2 months.
Bye-bye.